Imagine this, friends. You're sitting in your living room, sipping your coffee, when a breaking news alert flashes across your screen. The words are bold, dramatic, and almost unbelievable. Sister Wives star Christine Brown and her husband David Woolley, family rocked by criminal charges, warrants issued. Now take a pause and let that settle. Christine, the woman who won the hearts of millions when she escaped Kody Brown, now sees her earned peace disrupted. The blissful marriage that viewers deemed a fairy tale suddenly tainted by courtroom rumors, police reports, and asking questions nobody dreamed of. And here's the truth. You don't need to be a superfan to grasp the significance of this, because when someone who's finally found happiness is pulled back into crisis, something stirs within all of us. It makes us wonder, can joy ever be immune from scandal? Can peace endure when the past keeps banging on the door? And stay with me here, because what I'm about to share isn't just gossip. It's the unraveling of a love story that millions believed in. Christine Brown's journey has always been about resilience. For more than 2 decades, she lived under Kody Brown's rule, part of a polygamous marriage where her voice was often silenced, her dreams often postponed. Fans watched as Christine smiled through the pain, raising children, supporting her sister wives, and holding on to hope that one day she would be valued. But in 2021, Christine shocked the world. She stood tall, looked straight into the cameras, and said, "I'm leaving." With those words, she became a symbol, not just for Sister Wives fans, but for women everywhere who have felt invisible. She moved to Utah, started over, and began to rebuild her life piece by piece. And then, as if a ray of light through clouds, appeared David Woolley, a widower, a father, a man who appeared earthy and genuine. Christine welcomed him to the world with shining eyes and a smile viewers hadn't seen in years. For once, the headlines didn't feature conflict or heartbreak, but joy. Christine was in love, and fans worldwide rejoiced with her. But here's where the story takes a turn, and it's a turn nobody saw coming. Because just as Christine's life appeared picture perfect, the phrases criminal charges started circulating, and the fairy tale began to crack. Now, let's be clear, Christine herself is not accused of wrongdoing. The legal trouble stems from individuals connected to David Woolley's family, but when a name like Christine Brown is involved, even indirectly, the world pays attention. Visualize Christine scanning the headlines, the knot in her stomach, deepening with every sentence. After everything she's endured, after fleeing a marriage that was tumultuous, now she risks being scandalized by the man she loves. It seems almost cruel, doesn't it? As if the universe were presenting her with yet another test of strength after she's already demonstrated it. Fans moved fast to respond. Social media went wild with outrage, incredulity, and concern for Christine's future. Some cried out, "This does not define her. She should be happy." Others fretted openly, "Is she stuck in another situation, right when we thought she was out?" And here's the question nobody wants to ask, but everybody is wondering. Has Christine stepped into another storm without even knowing it? There's a theme of déjà vu to her previous life with Kody. Christine used to be overwhelmed by turmoil back then, jealousy between the wives, money issues, perpetual relocations, and always struggling to keep the family intact. It's sort of poetic in a tragic sense that when she gets out of Kody's storm, yet another storm is brewing on the horizon. Consider it like this. Christine desired nothing more than a peaceful, steady existence, a house where her laughter was genuine, not manufactured. And for a while she had it. She and David uploaded photos of road trips, family meals, and nights at home. Fans viewed those posts and assumed this is what tranquility feels like. But now, with warrants on the table, all the photos, all the smiles, all the happy captions sound so different. People ask themselves, was Christine blindsided? Did David conceal things? Or is this just a heartless coincidence that life has dealt them? And just when you're sure that the storm can't get any blacker, there are whispers spreading, whispers that this legal debacle might reopen old sores with Kody and the other Brown family members. Because let's be real, Kody Brown has never been afraid to share his 2 cents. Personal drama doesn't remain personal for long in the reality of Sister Wives. If there's even a whisper of strife in Christine's new union, many suspect Kody will jump on it. Maybe even declare, "See, she thought she was better without me." That alone contributes another level of tension. This not all about warrants and legal papers. It's about pride, reputation, and whose story won, after Christine walked out on Kody. And this is where the tears are deep. Christine struggled so much for her independence, and the fans hailed her bravery. The fear now is that her victory may be marred by another's error. It is a heart-wrenching thought to envision her sitting in her living room, wondering if history repeats itself in another way. And that's the part that keeps fans up at night, because Kody Brown's story is no longer just her own. It's a reminder of just how delicate even our most joyful pages can be. Friends, this is just the beginning of the drama that will be unfolding. The legal matters are still coming out, the family dynamics are changing, and Christine's future is in jeopardy. But if we know one thing about Christine, it's this: she doesn't give up. She's shown again and again that she can overcome heartbreak and stand taller than ever before. And perhaps, just perhaps, this storm will demonstrate her strength yet again. Buckle up, because this isn't just another headline from Sister Wives. This may be the crisis that determines Christine and David's future. The question now is, will this marriage survive scandal's weight, or will Christine's quest for peace go another heartbreaking route? Close your eyes for a second and imagine this: years of existing in a home where your voice feels small, your aspirations feel delayed, and your heart quietly shatters as the world perceives you to be smiling. Next, envision having the strength to leave all that behind, to be like, no more, I'm worthy of better. That's what Kody Brown did, and it altered everything. But that's where it gets more dramatic. Christine didn't merely walk away, she walked into a new life, constructed her own house, and won the heart of David Woolley again. Her tale was the fairy tale Sister Wives viewers were hoping for. But now, with rumors of criminal charges jolting David's family, that fairy tale is shaking. And friends, that is where the narrative becomes so heavy a weight to bear. Because Christine's path to liberation wasn't merely about an exit from Kody, it was about rewriting her story. The question is, will these fresh headlines promise to erase that victory? And tune in, because what followed when Christine left Kody is more than a story of TV drama. It's a lesson in heartbreak, courage, and starting over that we can all feel. Kody Brown's departure from the Brown family in 2021 was the most surprising Sister Wives moment in history. For years, viewers saw her as the dutiful wife, the one who cooked, the one who took care of the kids, the one who smiled while her heart was heavy. But behind closed doors, anger was simmering. Christine had felt ignored for years, eclipsed by the attention Robin received from Kody and resentful of a marriage that no longer provided her respect and partnership. Her breaking point came when she understood she didn't want her daughters, particularly Truly, to have to grow up thinking that neglect was acceptable in a relationship. In a shocking move for Kody and delight for viewers, Christine announced that she was leaving. And it wasn't just an estrangement. It was a powerful declaration: I deserve better. She loaded up and left, relocating to Utah, and beginning anew with nothing but Will and children in tow. It was the sort of choice that many viewers, particularly women who had survived controlling relationships, could connect with on a deep level. And here's the kicker: Christine didn't leave just a husband. She left a whole lifestyle, a whole way of believing, and she became the first sister wife to say, I choose myself. Supporters mobilized in her defense. Social media went wild with messages of encouragement. Christine was no longer a reality television star, she was a symbol of hope. She embarked on a new life in Utah, centered around her children and grandchildren, building a warm home that was finally hers alone. And just when everyone believed Christine's tale could not possibly get any better, she got us acquainted with David Woolley, a father, a widower, and by all accounts a man who loved her utterly. Together, Christine and David posted road trips, dinner with the family, and adorable posts that emanated happiness. Outwardly, it seemed as if fans were seeing a love affair play out in real time. Christine's laugh came back, her smile brightened the screen, and the burden she bore for decades seemed to dissolve. But now, with David's family under criminal indictment, the sheen of that love tale is tinged with doubt. The timing could not seem more heartless. Christine, who struggled tooth and nail for tranquility, finds herself once again in the midst of conflict she did not initiate. And here's the tough reality: occasionally the storms we avoid have a knack of locating us again. The question is, did Christine walk into a different type of storm unaware? In retrospect, Christine leaving Kody was not personal. It had a ripple effect on all the members of the Brown family. Janelle silently aligned herself with Christine, acknowledging she too felt Kody treated her unfairly. Mary, who always hoped that Kody would love her once more, felt increasingly alone. And Robin, Kody's lawfully wedded wife, solidified her hold as his last remaining partner. Christine, though, did not look back. She did not beg for love or battle for Kody's affections. She pushed on, eyes open and resolved. And that's why her fans were so fiercely protective of her new life. They regarded Christine as one who had already endured enough. To watch her name wound up, even secondarily in court intrigue, is to feel history is being cruel. And that's why this moment cuts so deep, because Christine isn't just another TV star. To her fans, she's living proof that leaving hurt behind can bring about happiness. And now that happiness feels fragile again, it's worth recalling, Christine's joy with David Woolley didn't only benefit her. Her children were also inspired. Aspen, Makelty, Jezebel, and the rest witnessed their mother living her life with dignity. They enjoyed her engagement, her wedding, and the laughter in her home. For them, David was stability, a man who respected their mother. Now that news of Warrants is making headlines, relief for the family is tinged with anxiety. Fans are left to wonder how much more can Christine endure. Will she remain with David the same way she remained loyal to Kody, even when it stung her? Or will she again opt for her liberty? These are questions that loom large because Christine's tale is not one of love. It is a tale of survival. Each decision she makes, each step she takes, is imbued with symbolism for the thousands of women who identify with her experience. And here's the catch of it all. Christine's liberation wasn't simply about escaping Kody. It was about showing herself, and us, that happiness is worth the struggle. Friends, Christine's journey is anything but straightforward. Leaving Kody was merely the first step. New life with David appeared to be the fairy tale ending, but life, being what it is, has a way of having the final say. What happens next with Christine will count, not just with her, but with anyone who has been following along. Because for her fans, Christine embodies hope. And hope is a delicate thing when it hangs in the balance on the basis of headlines laced with criminal charges. But if there's one thing we've learned about Christine, it's this: she's stronger than she knows. She's faced heartbreak before, and she's risen every single time. And maybe, just maybe, this challenge will prove once again that she is more than a headline. So as we observe Christine's journey, we must ask ourselves, will this new storm crush her? Or will it uncover a strength in her that we haven't even begun to see yet? Because this isn't just reality TV melodrama, it's the tale of a woman fighting, yet again, for her freedom. Imagine this, friends: you're browsing the news, perhaps after supper, when a headline freezes you in your tracks. Warrants issued, criminal charges linked to David Woolley's family. You read it twice because it sounds unreal. Is it possible this could have something to do with Kody Brown, the very same Christine who battled so hard for peace once she left Kody? And here's where the heart races, because we're not talking about a rumor whispered in the background of sister wives. We're talking about official words. Warrants issued. Those two words carry weight, and they don't just stay on paper. They ripple into lives, into marriages, into reputations. For Christine, those ripples fall directly on the ground she's been laying with David Woolley. And for viewers at home around the globe, it's almost more than they can absorb. After all that she's fought through, was Christine really embarking on another storm? This one not from within the Brown clan, but from the world around her. And wait just a minute, because when the term warrants came into this narrative, the sister wives world blew up like never before. When news surfaced of legal issues surrounding David's family, the initial response was shock. Christine herself was not named, but the link was enough to make shockwaves among the fan base. People were asking the obvious questions: how much does Christine know? How far does this go? And what does this do to her new beginning with David? To comprehend how the word hit so hard, you must recall Christine's journey. She didn't leave Kody to exchange one storm for another. She desired freedom, truth, and peace. That's why she moved states, why she constructed a new home, why she welcomed David so warmly. All those photographs of the couple smiling alongside each other seemed like a celebration of making it through. But legal drama has a tendency to cast shadows even when the sun shines brightest. For Christine, those shadows now extend across her marriage, across her reputation, and into the very image fans retain of her as a symbol of courage. And this is the part that makes your heart skip. Because in Sister Wives land, nothing remains private for long. Warrants don't just knock on doors, they knock on reputation. The backlash was immediate. Supporters swarmed the social media, not only in shock, but in terror that Christine would once again be pulled into turmoil. She didn't initiate. On Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, the cries rang out as one, "Not Christine. Please, not her again." Others stood up for her right away, stating she could not control what others chose to do. "She's innocent," they said. "She deserves happiness." Others were less understanding, stating that Christine had made a poor choice of partner, that she had moved too fast into marriage with David after being hurt before by love. Not just fans, of course, had thoughts about this. The Brown family themselves hovered in the wings of all this drama. Janelle, who herself stood silently with Christine after ditching Kody, now gets to see her friend deal with yet another ordeal. Mary, whose own ill-fated marriage has long weighed upon her, must certainly see the irony. And Robin, still standing by Kody, might be thinking that Christine's happily ever after isn't as great as it used to be. And of course there's Kody himself. If you've been watching this family long enough, you know Kody never lets a moment pass that he can chime in on it. Imagine him hearing about this. Some fans think maybe he'll even gloat. The fact that Christine is now facing issues again, as proof that leaving him wasn't the win she thought it would be. And that's where the conflict ratchets up. Because these warrants aren't solely about the Woolley. They're about how the Browns are going to take advantage of this moment to redefine the narrative. This personal cost is a burden for Christine. It's not merely her marriage in the spotlight, it's her own identity as the woman who fled, rebuilt, and inspired. Consider it. Christine has been the beacon for 2 years that walking away from hurt can bring happiness. Fans gazed at her and saw evidence that there was a better way. Now, with Warrants in the equation, that image is tattered. Picture Christine sitting at home, phone receiving messages, heart plummeting as she sees the headlines. She knows she's innocent of anything, yet the association alone is enough to create suspicion in strangers' heads. That's the ugliness of scandal. It does not require facts to injure, it only requires whispers. And here's the cruelest part. Christine's name is now tied to something she didn't cause. And in the court of public opinion, that's often the hardest battle to win. The fallout also questions Christine's marriage to David. Will she support him through this? Will she finally draw the line if the trouble becomes more entrenched? These are questions that don't only impact Christine, they impact her children, her fans, and even the larger Sister Wives brand. Remember, this is a family that has been under the public spotlight their entire lives. Whatever Christine does, whatever choice she makes, is amplified by cameras and headlines. The Warrants just fuel the fire and the emotional hurt. Christine didn't seek this out. She wanted only a simple, happy life. But here she is, embroiled again in a maelstrom of headlines. Fans feel she is their own because they've lived through this with her. They rejoiced with her over her freedom, her new romance, her laughter. And now they get to sit and watch as scandal tries to take all of that away. And friends, what makes the story so compelling? Because Christine isn't just battling for herself, she's battling to preserve the hope her fans have constructed around her. At its heart, this fallout isn't just about criminal charges or warrants. It's about the clash between the life Christine dreamed of and the messy reality she now faces. It's about the fragility of happiness in a world where every mistake, every misstep, becomes a headline. And please, though we eagerly await to see what this courtroom drama holds, one thing is guaranteed. The ripples are already taking effect. In Christine's marriage, in her family, in the hearts of fans who invested in her narrative. So the question we're left with is this. Will these warrants mark the beginning of another heartbreak for Christine Brown? Or will she once again rise above the storm? Because in the world of Sister Wives, the fallout is never small, and this time the stakes are higher than ever. Let me ask you something, friends. Have you ever rooted for someone so hard that their wins felt like your own? That's what fans did for Christine Brown. When she left Kody, when she met David, when she smiled brighter than ever before, viewers globally smiled with her. So picture the heartbreak when the news hit. Warrants out, criminal charges linked to David Woolley's family. For supporters of Christine, it felt intimate, just like a gut punch. Because this wasn't just another story, it was a shadow cast over the woman they'd been rooting for years. And here's what makes it so strong. The fans didn't merely observe Christine's storyline, they experienced it alongside her. They wept when she wept. They cheered when she gained independence, and they accepted her new love story as confirmation that happiness is attainable following suffering. So when this scandal erupted, feelings ran higher than anyone could have anticipated. And let me tell you something, the fan response wasn't just chatter on the internet. It was visceral, it was polarized, and it proved how much people do care about Christine's narrative. The instant the news made headlines, Facebook groups flashed with panicked messages. Tell me this isn't happening. Christine is worth more than this. Not again. She has suffered so much already. Thousands of comments rolled in, each one of them a blend of shock, sorrow, or fear. On YouTube, producers posted reaction videos shortly thereafter. Some lashed out, arguing Christine had been caught off guard, and that she should not be punished for someone else's misbehavior. Others pointedly asked difficult questions. Did she marry too hastily? Did she truly know David well enough before they got married? And then there were the Instagram comments on Christine's own photos. Photos of her smiling with David, once covered in hearts and happy sentiments, now became battlefields of concern. Stay strong, Christine. We're with you. Please tell us you're okay. It wasn't hate, it was concern. The kind of concern you have when someone you love is walking through flames. And that's the truth. The fan backlash wasn't solely about Christine. It was about what she stands for. To others, she's not just a reality TV star. She's hope. And when hope's on the line, people will fight to preserve it. You see, Christine's fans aren't armchair spectators. They're women themselves who've survived controlling marriages, survived heartbreak, survived the hard decision to leave. They identify themselves in her bravery. They identify their own struggles in her tears. That is why this scandal cuts so deeply. Because if Christine's happiness can be undermined, what does that do to theirs? If her joy can be linked to criminal charges through no fault of her own, does it make us think that joy itself is ever secure? There were fans who held on tight to their allegiance. They stood up for Christine in each thread and comment, reminding everyone that she didn't do anything wrong. She's innocent. This isn't her burden, they posted. She's deserving of love, and no one can snatch it away. But there were others who expressed fear. Fear that Christine would again be trapped in a cycle of suffering. Fear that she could lose the happiness she struggled so mightily to achieve. And those fears poured out in late-night tweets, in tearful video reactions, in podcasting shows where fans said they couldn't sleep after hearing the news. And friends, that's how you know this is bigger than just television drama. Because when fans lose sleep over your story, it means your life has become their hope. Of course, not all reactions were positive. Some critics seized the moment to question Christine's decisions. They cited how quickly she jumped into a new relationship after she left Kody. They questioned whether her need for love closed her eyes to red flags. They posed the tough question, did Christine rush too fast? Those voices were fewer in number, but they hurt. For even as fans scrambled to come to her defense, the critics reminded everyone that public figures are always under the cold light of scrutiny. For Christine, that means that even her happiness comes with a price. The emotional burden of these reactions can't be overemphasized. Picture logging onto your social media and finding thousands of strangers arguing about your life, your marriage, your happiness. Even with all the support, the din must be overwhelming. And this is where the story gets emotional. Because the fans' reactions aren't just comments on a screen. They're waves of energy that Christine herself has to confront. For longtime watchers, the irony hurts. They saw Christine escape Kody's abandonment, restore her life, and once again shine. They cheered for her wedding pictures. They jubilated at her Instagram updates. They felt her giggles as their own. And now, they want to protect her. They don't want Christine shattered again. They don't want her name associated with anything dark or destructive. They want her story to continue being the mark of survival that it's always been. That's why people care so deeply, because Christine's journey has never been about her alone. It's about the fans who have gone on this journey with her. Step for step, heartbreak for heartbreak, victory for victory. Some insist that Christine should remain quiet until the dust settles. Others insist she should speak out. Reassure her fans, prove to them that she's still standing strong. Whatever she does, one thing is sure, her every step will be scrutinized, debated, and felt deeply by people everywhere. And here's the strong part. The fans aren't just observing, they're invested. and their feelings may just determine the way this story goes next. Christine's fans have faith in her strength. They've watched her come back before, and they're clinging to hope that she'll come back again. The posts, the comments, the videos, they're not an overreaction. They're prayers, hopes, and encouragements being cast over the internet like lifelines. But despite all the backing, the shadow of doubt still exists. The term warrants has a tendency to stick around, to cling to conversation months after the news headlines cease to exist. For Christine, the task is now to prove that this tempest will not define her. So here's the question we're all asking tonight. Will Kody Brown's fans see her emerge from this crisis stronger than ever? Or will the weight of this scandal dim the light they've cherished for so long? Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's this: in the world of sister wives, the fans don't just watch the drama, they live it. Let me ask you something, friends. What do you do when the fairy tale you've been rooting for comes under its greatest test? Kody Brown's story has always been one of freedom, toughness, and loving again after heartbreak. Viewers cheered when she walked away from Kody. Viewers celebrated when she met David. And they thought finally that they had their happy ending. But now, with these stunning warrants connected with David Woolley's family, that fairy tale conclusion seems precarious. The question in everyone's mind is simple. What next? Will Christine's romance collapse under the value of scandal? Will her reputation, painstakingly restored over years, be soiled in the eyes of millions? Or will she simply do what she's always done, ascend from the flames stronger than ever? Because let's be real, friends, this isn't all about Christine's marriage. This is about the whole Brown legacy. And how Christine navigates this storm might define the future of Sister Wives itself. And here's the truth. The next chapter isn't all about Christine's decision. It's about what the world perceives of her, what her family does, and whether the Brown saga goes on, or finally ends. Christine is at a point where she has two options: silence, allowing the drama to run its course without adding fuel to the fire, or speaking out, commanding the narrative, assuring the fans and ensuring her truth is heard over the din. Silence can shield her for the moment, but it has the potential to allow the rumors to define her. To speak out could bring relief, but it also invites further examination. It's a difficult decision, one that could determine how fans look back on this period of her life. Behind the scenes, the conversations would go like this. TLC producers sitting on the sidelines, considering whether or not this scandal will benefit or damage upcoming storylines. Christine's kids, loyal and protective, no doubt telling her to defend her peace. David, by her side, may be stuck between his family drama and being in love with her. And that's the point. The future's not about Christine herself. It's about her family, her fans, and a TV empire built upon the narrative of her life. Underscore 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 underscore. The Brown legacy itself hangs in the balance. Sister Wives has always flourished on tension, heartbreak, and strength. But now, the show is facing its greatest challenge. For years, audiences were captivated by Kody's dominance, the wives' despair, and the family's disintegration. Christine's victory, her independence, and new marriage was the perfect conclusion to that protracted story arc. But reality TV never stops at happy endings. It feeds on conflict, on scandals, on the raw messiness of real life. And like it or not, this new chapter brings all of that. TLC may lean into it, framing Christine as a woman fighting to protect her joy. Or they may step back, shielding her from more pain. Either way, the legacy of Sister Wives will be shaped by how this story unfolds. Viewers are already speculating whether this will show up in the next season. Some call for openness. If Christine's going through it, we should see it on screen. Others plead with TLC to grant her some privacy. But as past experience indicates, TLC doesn't tend to leave drama on the cutting room floor. And friends, that means one thing: this scandal isn't just Christine's reality. It may soon be our reality as viewers, woven into the Sister Wives story forever. So what's next for Christine on a personal level? Some fans think she'll double down on good vibes, posting more family photos, joyous updates, and showing the world that love conquers all. Others believe she might take a step back from the limelight, at least temporarily, in order to safeguard her peace and protect her kids. Financially, Christine is better off than she was years ago. With TLC deals, social media endorsements, and her dedicated fan base, she has money that enables her to opt for her destiny without being pushed by money or desperation. That's power, and it enables her to have control over her own narrative. Emotionally, however, this is new ground. Christine has experienced heartbreak before, but this isn't the same thing. This time, her hurt isn't about lost love. It's about public opinion, about a marriage she feels is secure now being called into question by millions of people. That's a heavy burden to bear, even for someone as strong as Christine. And here's where it gets serious. Christine's next step won't only determine her future. It could determine how millions of women envision their own paths following heartbreak. And Kody Brown, you can be sure he's paying attention to this. Some viewers think that he might even view this as vindication, that Christine's new life is not all it was cracked up to be. Whether or not he ever mouths those words, you know the idea crossed his mind. But here's the irony, Christine's pain doesn't undo Kody's failures. In fact, if anything, it showcases just how much Christine's fought to be happy, regardless of the odds. And that fight is one that Kody can never strip from her. The other wives as well will be observing. Janelle, who has long defended Christine, might come to her defense again. Mary and Robin might say nothing, but that silence will shout loud and clear. Each response, each Instagram statement, each interview by the Brown family will contribute. And that's what makes this moment historic. It isn't just Christine's next chapter. It's the next chapter for the entire Brown family. So where does this leave us? With doubt, indeed, but also with hope. Because if Christine has taught us anything in all her years, it's that she can get up. Over and over, she's taken heartbreak and turned it into resilience. She's taken judgment and turned it into self-sufficiency. She's seen doors slammed in her face and opened new ones instead. This could be toughest tempest she's ever encountered. But tempests do have this ability to uncover real strength. And fans are waiting to watch Christine demonstrate once again that she is better than the scandal, better than the news, better than the agony, waiting to support her as she walks into the uncertain future with her strength that has turned her into a symbol of survival for so many people. So friends, the question we leave you with tonight is this: when the dust has settled, will Christine Brown's tale still be the beacon of hope we've always supposed? Or will this scandal forever redefine the Brown legacy? Because here's the thing, we know that one thing is for sure, this tale is far from over. And the next chapter will be the most consequential of all.